whiskey?
You'll find
or
out.
I'll find out later. Okay.
You'll find out. Hi everyone, welcome to the couch. With me today I have Dana, and Dana is a little bit new to whiskey, I understand. Just starting to take an interest in it, wants to learn a little bit more. Do I have that about right? We have our 3 whiskeys in front of us, and we're going to go from left to right. So, to whiskey number 1. Ready?
Okay.
Let's do it.
It's not like wine that like drips down. It's like, it's sweet. Smells like dessert.
It does, doesn't it? You ready to taste them?
I am. Smells like it'll taste good. So,
Cheers.
it's not as sweet as it smells.
Okay.
Like I thought it was gonna be
Sweeter?
sweeter.
Yeah. You know, a couple drops of water. They say that adding water will open it up a little bit. Lowers the alcohol content because it dilutes it a little bit. You're the scientist. You probably would understand why that might be.
I failed chemistry.
Okay.
Yeah, twice.
Shouldn't have brought that point
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Sorry, Mom. I don't like it with water.
Oh, really?
No.
Are you all right?
Yeah. It bit my throat with the water as
Really?
opposed to without. I much preferred it without the water.
Interesting. Okay.
I thought that it almost like intensified that like the burn at the end as opposed to before it was more of a smooth. Yeah, no, I like it better without.
Interesting.
Am I supposed to like it better with?
No.
Oh.
You can like it whatever way you want to like it or not like it. Whiskey 2. Ready?
Okay. Oh wow, there's a big difference in the way it sticks to the glass.
A lot less, isn't it?
What's that?
A lot less.
No, I find this one.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I can see the ring around the glass. Was the other one started to drip down earlier. Oh, that smells different, too.
Yeah.
It smells like forest, like trees and trees.
Yeah.
I know trees. You can ask me anything about trees. No more
So
chemistry.
not chemistry, just the biology.
Yeah, it smells like conifer trees.
Oh, conifers. Now we're getting specific.
It smells like Christmas.
Oh yeah, okay. I think it smells a little bit like wet pavement.
Wet paint, actually.
Oh, wet paint.
But like the good smell of wet paint.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Now, interesting. The other one smells sweeter. This one tastes sweeter.
I find the first one sweeter than this one in the taste.
I guess it's the same where, some people like sushi and some people don't.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it's
Right?
totally a personal thing.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no right and wrong to when you're tasting whiskey. What you get is not necessarily what I'm going to get from it. That wet pavement is still there.
Yeah.
Do you get wet pavement? Not that I know what wet pavement tastes like. Or maybe I was that kid. Maybe I was that kid.
It smells like my not the smell. Like it tastes like I feel like my basement would taste. Does that make sense?
That's awesome.
Like if I went into the basement and I licked the floor. That's what it would taste like.
The mental picture.
I may have done that as a child, just to see what it tasted like.
I feel like the couch is sometimes a little bit of a
revelation,
yeah, like it's a little bit of a psychiatrist couch, because when Ken was on, I was like, you were that kid who smelled markers, and now you're like, I might have been that kid who licked pavement.
So, but like gin. Okay, for me, I think gin tastes like Christmas trees.
Okay.
And someone once said, like, how do you know what Christmas trees taste like? I'm like, haven't you tasted a tree? Like, haven't you ever, like, pine smelled good, and I tried to taste it when I was a kid, and
That's so funny.
it doesn't taste so good.
I never tasted a tree. But I find that smell and taste, they're so closely related that even if I haven't tasted something, if it's a really familiar smell, I feel like I know what that would taste like. But
Basement
I've never
floors.
tasted trees or basement floors.
So do I get to put water in this one?
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
I'm a little bit afraid this time. Okay, here we go. And that one tastes better with water.
I agree. It's really nice and soft with the water.
Still tastes like a little bit, it's like a dust smell, like taste.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad taste. Like it's like spring, you know, like when it first starts to rain on a hot pavement, and that smell.
Just painting a picture here for you with number 2. And I actually think it's quite accurate.
And I finished that one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Whiskey 3. Let's go. Let's do it. Do you notice the color?
They're darker.
Yeah. Oh, I get something very specific from this one. I'm going to wait for your...
It just smells like trees again. So, but it's like almost
different
like,
kind of
but it's
tree?
like sweet trees. So it's somewhere in between the two for me.
Okay.
Like this one smelled sweet, and this one smelled like trees, and this one smells like sweet trees.
The smell I get from it is raisins. No, not raisins.
I don't eat raisins, so I don't really smell raisins.
But you've had raisins before, haven't you?
If I had to, like someone snuck raisins into my
Secret
food,
raisins.
right? That's got a lot more flavor and a lot more everything to it. It's a lot. I guess it's like it's more of everything. It's more flavor, more alcohol, more everything.
Yeah.
Is it thicker?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. There's a body it's got more body, more oomph.
That one has that. That's what I think. For me, that's what I think Scotch tastes like. But I don't even know if it's Scotch. But that's what that like woody, but not like oaky. I don't know, like more like woods. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Like a fire, yeah, it's good. I like it. Water. Also better with water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It got rid of that, that like punch to the back of the throat feeling that when I before. But still.
That's interesting. I actually prefer it without the water.
Really? See?
Yeah, I felt it. I felt the flavor profile was really quite distinct and strong.
So yeah, with the water, it lost some of the flavor, but for me, it got rid of that kick.
But
I like that this one tastes like a fireplace, like a warm, like home. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's a rainy day whiskey, I think.
Yeah, like it's like home with a fire and a blanket and yeah.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. All right. So, the big question, Dana, which is your favorite? Number 2.
Number 2. Yeah.
Number 2. Okay.
Is that what you expected me to pick?
You know what? I really didn't know which one you would
Yeah.
pick. Okay, so what was it about 2 that made it stand out?
I liked that foresty tree taste to it. I had words for that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you one, and then I'll show you three, and then
All right.
two. So number one was Glenfiddich 15. And this particular whiskey is one that I usually recommend to people who haven't tried a lot of whiskeys. Out of the sort of core range of Glenfiddich, which is 12, 15, and 18 years, this is my favorite. And this one is sort of a staple in my collection. It's because I find it's a little bit sweeter. I really like it in hot tea, actually. What's kind of interesting about this is that you can see it says the Solera vat. The Solera vat's kind of interesting. It's actually gigantic. What they do is when they start to age the whiskey, they put it into this giant Solera vat, and it mixes with older whiskeys. So there could be 15-year-old whiskeys in here, but there could be much older whiskeys. It all sort of blends together. Matured in sherry, bourbon, and new oak casks. So I find that it's got kind of a nice sweetness to it, and it's one that I often recommend for people who are new to whiskey. And so yeah, that's why I thought you would like it the best. And whiskey 3 was from Bowmore, called Darkest. Known to be smoky, peaty. It's an Isla whiskey. If I talk about Islas, or you've
Never heard that word ever.
That's what it looks like. Islay. It's pronounced Isla. It's an island off the west coast of mainland Scotland, and typically, if you're going to order an Isla whiskey, typically it's going to be a little bit smokier. It's known for being peaty and smoky. This one has a little bit more complexity to it, the Darkest, because it's finished in a sherry cask. So you still have that smokiness, which I think you picked up when you were talking about fire.
Yeah.
But there's still a sweetness to it that kind of balances that out. The final 3 years spent in Oloroso sherry casks. So what I find really interesting, finishing in sherry casks is quite common with whiskey, but it's the type of sherry that can really change the way the whiskey is. So Oloroso is somewhere in the middle as far as sweetness is concerned. If you get a whiskey that's aged in, say, a PX cask, that's a really sweet sherry. So of course the whiskey is going to be what they would probably call a sherry bomb. Number 2 was Jura Brooklyn. For this flight, I took you on a little bit of a tour of Scotland. These are all Scotch whiskies. The Glenfiddich is a Speyside. So Speyside is a subsection of the Highland region. Islas tend to be quite smoky and peaty. Jura's a little bit of an anomaly because technically it's a Highland, but Jura is actually an island. What I find interesting about this particular whiskey, it's relatively new. The master blender at Jura took samples from some casks over to Brooklyn. He got together some artisans like restaurateurs and bar owners and stuff. Got them into a room, had them taste different samples. They gave their feedback. He went back to Scotland, based on their feedback, blended 3 different single malt scotches. You came back, same people, sat down with them. They sampled all 3, gave their feedback, and the winner is this. This was sort of partially designed by the artisans of Brooklyn.
So you see, there are other people who have licked basement floors.
The people of Brooklyn.
People of Brooklyn like licking basement floors.
Not just this one. The distillery's never going to put basement floors as their tasting notes. They put honey, currants, figs, smoke, roasted coffee beans. Thanks for joining. Thanks for
having me. This was fun.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it. Bye.
You got a lot in your glass this time.
Did I? I feel like I had less than number 2. I really should measure these a little bit more closely.